Okay, Mr. Chairman, that's all my questions for right now. Perhaps Whittier has additional.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I think there might be some people in the audience that would like to. Okay.
It's not a public hearing, but there's open mic for opportunity, but definitely come to this microphone, speak into it. We're gonna do sound system.
Al Yanni. I actually was on the track advisory board committee for several years, and the take I got on, and we've discussed this several times about selling rights of advertising the track. And as I remember right, it was pretty well agreed that we would somehow keep track involved in the name. I found out about this coming before this body just, I think it was Friday. I've had a chance to talk to about 10 people. 80% of them want to have track involved in the name. And I think it's something that it's good signage. People know about track. I think it would be due to service to track to take that name away. It's like anything else. If you change your name, people, if you've been in business for 20 years, they know you by your business. All of a sudden, you get a new name. Who are you? I think track needs to stay on, and I think you might be a little bit light on the fees you're going to be receiving from HAPO. It's hard to do apples and apples. Toyota Center, that brings in $250,000 a year. So now we're going to go back from apples to oranges here. I think track should be able to have $125,000 a year, especially if it sounds to me like you're not going to be able to have somebody come and put their name on the arena or things like that. My understanding is that Ranch and Home was paying $35,000 just to name the arena on the inside. So when you take that away, that's taking that opportunity away. I'm sorry, I haven't read the contract. I didn't even know. I couldn't find it anywhere, so my computer ability sometimes is lacking. I think you're probably leaving some money on the table, and from the people I talked to, they wanted to have track left in the name, and that was some people that actually, I talked to one or two people that have actually been involved in track, and they didn't want to come forward today, but they wanted the track to be left in. It could be the HAPO, track event center. There's so many ways that you could put it in where it would take away from the HAPO name. I would prefer to, I prefer the $100,000 a year in track over 125 and leave track out. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is James Jimenez. Just want to give a comment about this grant, what I call it. I graduated from WSU Tri-Cities, and my marketing professor is Pam Anderson. She's well known around the area, and she educated me on the benefits of co-branding. And I think this would be very appropriate to have HAPO and track. If we don't, we can lose, instead of 20 years of brand equity, so it's called. Unfortunately, a lot of people I talk to doesn't understand that. But it's very beneficial if we were to retain the track or it gets lost. It can't be agreed upon. That's the deal.
Anybody else? See nothing.
Mr. Chairman, I think that maybe we should go back to HAPO and propose that. If they want their name only, it's 125. If they go with HAPO track and facility, we'll put it at 100. We won't prolong it anymore. I know that the track facility is getting close to a break-even point, and with the age of track now, which is 20 years?
23.
23 years, we're looking and already experiencing maintenance problems. And we're going to have to really look at being more than even break even. So we cover our maintenance and our upkeep. The roof, I know it's got a good slope to it, but metal, aluminum, it fails and rusts, whatever it is, we're gonna be looking at maybe rough problems down the road here, and we're gonna need some funds to take care of that. And I don't wanna be going to the taxpayers and asking them for more money. We should be creating a slush fund to take care of these necessities to keep the facility running. So that's mine.
So it's optimistic at best to say that track is close to breaking even because there's never been great transparency, in my opinion, about the true costs of track. The numbers that get reported are O&M costs. They don't speak to the cost of bond payments that get paid. Those run in millions over years. Commissioner Didier is absolutely correct that we're going to need funds for repair and eventual replacement portions of the facility. There have not been any funds escrowed or set aside for those activities that I'm aware of. And in fact, we've been falling behind on repairs and maintenance, probably done. That being said, I'm aware that public facilities like this rarely, and in fact, I don't know of a single one that makes money. If it gets to the point where it's making money, then I think that means we're charging the people who use it too much. The public paid for it. So ideally, we want to break even, but I don't see this contract providing the revenue that is what breaks us even. What breaks us even are some of the things that we've done, like eliminating a lot of high-cost government labor by going to professional outside contracts for catering or beverage service. Improvements to the facility like concreting the arena, getting larger clients in there. That all said, in a business, it's really hard to turn down revenue. Tom, you've already told us the track, or that HAPO is not interested if the track name is involved. I don't see any harm in asking the question. And make sure that that is their position. I'm not surprised that there's concern in the county over the name change. It's become familiar over time. There's certainly a nostalgia element to it that is appealing. But I also know, as a guy with master's degree in communication science and marketing, the value of brands, the fact that you can overcome that with time. There's no cost to it, but the cost is not insurmountable. I'm not talking about a private business in direct competition with other very similar businesses. It's kind of a one-off, so that branding issue applies, but not so much as it would in the private market. I'm certainly willing to support Commissioner Didier's notion that we go back and ask the question at least about the name. I had asked the question a few months back, actually it was about a year ago, when another entity was looking at naming rights, and I asked what the Toyota Center was receiving. The answer I got at the time was that it was comparable to what we were pursuing with the track. But Mr. Yenny, as he often does, provides some insight. And in this case, if the Toyota Center is getting $250,000 a year, he may very well be right that we're leaving a lot on the table. So I don't want to prolong it and delay it either, but I think probably it makes sense for us to maybe have one more meeting with our friends at HAPO, just make sure that we're all on the same page. Everybody is coming out of this feeling as though that they're a partner and a winner, and not leaving something on the table and not offending our constituents. Last point I'll make is that $100,000 a year is helpful to the bottom line, but that's less than $1 a person in the county. No fan of taxes. I'm not suggesting one. I'm just trying to scale it and show what the financial value is compared to the size of it. It's fairly small.
Further? So what's the end result of the board?
asked staff to meet once more with, or at least once more with HAPO, share the feedback that's been presented here in the meeting, come back with either an updated proposal or the same one, or to make a decision definitive next week. None of us want to kick the can down the road. Everybody's anxious to get going, but there's been some good brought out that wasn't discussed. In particular for me, the $250,000 number Toyota, I would, Tom, appreciate it if you would find out for me if in fact that's the current number. I'm doubting it's always known to be precise and accurate, but I'd like to verify.
That's time to do that. I'm afraid of losing the whole work, so in the meantime. Okay, bye.
Do we want to let him have the bargaining chip? Track is left on, it's 100,000, it's taken off, it's 125.
I might advise it's probably best to have that discussion kind of openly with the representatives of the HAPO to
Right.
gauge what their level of interest is in alterations to the current proposal. I don't believe the staff would want to be in a position of making a commitment for the commissioners or promising something that we couldn't deliver, because there's always questions that could come up next week that we may not be addressing, and so I probably prefer not to put us in a position of offering certainty at this point.
Tom, you know where the board wants you to go. Okay. Thank you. Point of our agenda that is the public comment portion. Anybody that'd like to speak? Yeah, well,
Hello, my name is Jeffrey Robinson. How are you? I'm actually rising to speak because I am very proud of something that two of my commissioners did in relation to something they said in the Tri-City Herald. A few weeks ago, the Tri-City Herald published some articles concerning a lawsuit that affects one of the Benton County commissioners. And when I was reading this article, I had one commissioner give what seemed like a very sincere apology for what the person involved in the lawsuit, the person suing, had been through. And then I saw a very thoughtful analysis by another commissioner concerning this entire thing. It made me proud to be a Franklin County resident. For all that we may disagree on politically, and for all of the policy arguments we may have, we are still Franklin County. This is still a good place to live. We are still, even on our worst day, one of the best groups of people that has ever graced this very state of Washington. And we are still, at the end of the day, a family. So I just wanted to come up here because I know that we have had our moments in the past and actually take a moment to acknowledge something I'm proud of that this current commission did. Thank you very much, and thank you for taking a stand on that issue. And to any county or any other part of Washington that may think we are lesser just because we are not millionaires, or who may think that we are not worth something because we have a proud farming history, I would respectfully ask them to reconsider their attitudes and prejudices. We are better than they think, and we're a damn good county. Thank you.
Anybody else? Move on to payroll and warrant.
Mr. Chairman, it looks like we have one today only. This is fund expenditures. I move for approval of fund expenditures in the total amount of $514,169.66. Note for the record, this has been reviewed by the county administrator, signed off, as well as reviewed and signed by two members of the auditor's office.
I second.
All in favor? Aye. That brings us to consent agenda. We have 3 listed, but number 3 has been pulled, so I would ask a motion for consent 1 and 2.
Chairman, move for approval of consent agenda.
Items 1 and 2, acknowledging that item 3 is pulled for future consideration.
I second with discussion.
Discussion?
Yes. I believe it was on the agenda item number 1. Looking through this, the negotiations and pay raises, I noticed in the back here we have the effective dates of these reclassifications. And I, just going through the list and looking at the positions, and one in particular is the bilingual program coordinator, does not receive a grade placement grade increase until September. And I was just curious as to, already we've been told that she should be at a 14. I don't know why we don't make her a 14 as soon as possible.
Marley, do you have a moment?
Sure.
Maybe come up with a microphone, please. I think we're talking about two different things. This is assisted courthouse collective bargaining, union agreement.
But it has the pay grades going up, and they have the dates as of January 1, June 1, January, March, June, and then it goes to September, and in September, she finally gets raised to a 14.
The agreement with AFSCME for the courthouse unit is reflective of the same phasing approach to the comp study recommendations that we agreed with the roads unit that the commissioners have already signed, as well as the non-bargaining employees, which the commissioners approved last week. That phase-in approach was a 6-phase approach that first impacted those positions that were the furthest off from where they end up in the comp study, and then phases that in as was requested by the board to minimize the fiscal impact. Certainly would have been easier and I think preferable to everybody to do it all at once, but it just wasn't fiscally feasible.
Well, I just know that this position has made us money through the state because they have hired her for the election process. We've made money because of this bilingual program coordinator. And I know that Yakima has been sued twice because they did not have one, and I think it's very important that we retain her in the auditor's office.
I was just going to say, there's no objection or disagreement here. It's a function of making sure that we are in compliance with our contractual obligation. Courthouse Employees Union